The only EV on the market today I would even consider owning is the Rivian R1T that you see behind me. This, compared to even a Tesla Cybertruck, is night and day better. In this video, I want to just go from front to back and figure out if the lighting is any good on the all-new Rivian R1T. Starting with the most important, the headlights. Right now you got two LED projectors on low beam. Right below that, you got two dedicated high beam projectors down here and two on the other side. And then obviously you got the shape that goes around this headlight. This is probably the most unique headlight housing that I've seen on the market for new vehicles in a very, very long time. The Cybertruck didn't even technically have a headlight housing. It was like a DRL or a fog light. Can you imagine driving down the road with snow and all of that snow just gets so compacted right over the headlights on the Cybertruck? How stupid. I mean, if you live somewhere without snow, sure, but I grew up in Minnesota. There's no way that that's going to pass and keep you safe. Now, I was blown away when I pulled this thing about 25 feet away from the wall. The output is seriously impressive. We test like this all the time, and we use the Konica Minolta digital lux meter. The only thing is lux numbers is only relevant if you do not move the truck or if you do it on the same day. If you have different ambient light, you're 1 inch or 2 inches further back, you're going to get a different number the next time you do this. I say that because after looking at this OEM lighting, it looks really similar to my BMW M3 with adaptive laser lights. You can see those little notches in the low beam. I did turn the wheel left and right on the Rivian, and I didn't notice them moving, so I don't believe these headlights are adaptive, but holy was I surprised. When you compare this beam pattern to the Cybertruck low beam, it looks like this. Going into this video, I didn't think any other manufacturer out there could even come close to how bright the Cybertruck lights are. On high beam, the Cybertruck absolutely blew away the competition in the last shootout that we did. However, the high beam on this Rivian is placed exactly where I want it, just above the low beam, which gives me this astronomical lux number. And as you can see, it looks brighter. As far as the turn signal goes, because of the shape of this headlight housing, you have that standard blank turn signal. You don't get that sequential turn signal that you see on a lot of the modern vehicles, but it's still cool. When you get down here, you're gonna notice the fog light, and the fog light actually has 3 individual light sources. On the outside of both sides, it's got the LED projector, just like the headlights. Obviously, it's a smaller LED projector. You got one here and one here. And then on the inside, it's got a reflector, which actually produces a very good fog light beam pattern. It's the light output emitted from this fog light. It's actually pretty spectacular to say the least. I think aftermarket brands should probably catch on to what the new OEM vehicles are doing. That's why I even get this in here, because I want to try to figure out what the new OEM trends are, so that way when I see new products come through, I know which products you guys are going to like. On that topic of trends, look at the bed lights here. I have seen this on a lot of the new vehicles, and quite honestly, I'm a little jealous that I can't have these rail-style light optics inside of the bed. Usually, a GMC Sierra, Ford F-150, or all of those common trucks have the lights right down here. And they do an okay job, but nothing like a big old light bar that you see here. The Cybertruck had way more lighting inside the truck bed, but again, they don't even compare. This, in my opinion, is plenty of light. Still does a really good job. It doesn't look like a cheap LED they slapped on here. And thankfully, there's no incandescent bulbs back here at all. It's all LED. Everything on this vehicle is LED, so we don't have to replace any bulbs from the factory. So I see some rear fog lights that we don't even talk about, and they're right below here on the bumper. When you turn your headlights on with the fog lights, this is what the rear fog lights look like. And in America, we don't really discuss or even have rear fog lights, but this is a super, super bright light. Up top here, you'll notice that you've got that same fluted or honeycomb look as you did on the front of this vehicle. This is a running light. I wish it was a dual intensity brake light, but it's not. The brake light's actually just right on the sides, and there's not a lot of brake light. The brake light is really bright, but it's not really that big of a surface area when you're looking at the back of the vehicle. There's also some lights on this vehicle I think might be a little bit gimmicky, like the logo projector that produces the logo on the Rivian. Back in the day, this was really cool, but back in the day, they would burn out and we would be replacing them over and over and over again. I'm assuming you're not gonna have to replace this logo projector anytime soon, since it comes from the factory this way. You know how Bentleys have umbrellas? Rivians have flashlights. This flashlight is literally built into the door, and it is a pretty good flashlight. It is really bright and it's dimmable, but it's still a gimmick. It goes in the door. It's funny. Besides that, The lighting on the inside, though, that's a little bit more unique. there's actually this light that goes all the way around this door panel, and it illuminates the wood trim on the inside. Now, I'm sure some other trim levels of the R1T don't have that, but this one does, and that's very good looking. On the mirrors, there's this really cool thing. If you go to the infotainment center, you can see the floodlights. There's floodlights on the mirrors. If you are setting up a tent on the side of your vehicle, you push this button, it helps illuminate the entire area. It's really easy to tell that this vehicle was designed for people that go off-road, that tent, bring their families out into the wilderness. Good on Rivian, and by the end of this video, I'll probably trade my truck in for it. And lastly, I stole this truck from Team 1EV, and they actually had one of the 4-banger off-road pod lights that we talk about on this channel all the time already mounted on their bracket. They exclusively sell this bracket, but you can house an off-road pod light on here without passing any wiring through the firewall. They've done that with this really intelligent remote that will allow you to turn it on and off. This is 900 times better than a Tesla Cybertruck. If you're looking for an electric EV, the Rivian is actually very practical. And if you needed some buyer's advice, the advice is buy it. The Rivian R1T is where it's at. Go to headlightrevolution.com to see all of the other products we've tested for your own personal vehicle, and we'll see you there.